song to worship to together, because I think the young man I'm bringing up here in just a moment, what evidence for that being true. And so, if you will, I'm gonna have him come up, and if you just join in welcoming Mr. Vic Haddad up here to the stage. Let me share a little bit about who this guy is, just so you know. And I'm gonna tell you, today you're gonna be blown away by his story. Like, he was telling me about his office, and I'm just like, really? Really? So, you're in for a treat here. But he was actually he's the only original board member that we still have on our board from the original start of the school. He was actually part of the committee that sought out to see if starting Troy Christian was even feasible, if we could even make it happen. So he was part of the decision process that really started Troy Christian Schools, and that is awesome that we have an opportunity to hear from him. His wife, actually, Mrs. Haddad, taught at elementary for 18 years. And yeah, anybody have Mrs. Haddad here anymore? Has she been gone? You had her? That's what's up. All right, good deal. And he has 2 granddaughters here, Morgan and Meredith. Yeah, you got the fist bump as he came up. That's what's up. She's like, oh, what you talking about? And they've also got 2 other grandkids at the elementary. And he travels a lot, and you'll hear from him, just from sharing his stories, how much that's played into his life and how God's orchestrated things. But he's been in 49 states and 35 different countries. He's traveled a little bit. And I'm excited that you guys had the opportunity to learn some real life lessons from the things that he's experienced. And so we're glad that you're here. And if you guys would just give it up one more time for Mr. Vic Haddad.
You'll find out very shortly that I have a voice problem. So please bear with me. And with this microphone, this bottle of water, and God's help, we'll get through it. How about those Lady Eagles? I happened to be there last night, and I'm telling you, I don't think I have witnessed so much courage in a long time. The score was, but the courage, this team that they played won the state 4 years ago. Now the kids that were freshmen on that team were seniors now. Great team. When I was asked to talk, oh, by the way, probably during the talk, I'll hanky out a time or 2, but that's all right. Just don't, I'll let it hopefully not bother me if it won't let it bother you. I was going to sing, but with my voice I thought, man, probably should. So we won't sing. And I thought, what could I call this talk? And I thought, don't worry about it. That's it. Don't worry about it. So that's what I titled this talk. Let's start with Philippians 4:6-7. I'll read it for you. Now, if I was sharper, I'd have it memorized and wouldn't have to read. But I'm an old man, remember that. Don't be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. Here comes the biggie. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Proverbs 12:25 states this, an anxious heart weighs a person down. You know, I should have been a professional warrior. My mother was. My Uncle Gip was a gold medal winning warrior. I should have been. Now, let me share some of the 15 or 16 things that happened to me in my sheltered life that should have caused me to worry. Now, Morgan and Meredith, I left out the scary stuff because I didn't want to frighten you. So there's no scary stuff here. Age 3, I started early. Age 3, which happened to be in 1946, I lived with my family in California. And something unusual happened. Today it's kind of commonplace. My family, my mom and dad divorced. We moved from California back to West Virginia. Now, to show you how unusual that was then, in my grade school, when I started school, there was 180 kids in the school. I was the only student in the school from a divorced family. Today, rates can be as high as 50%. Age 16, my 16th birthday, I go out and take the driver's written test, pass it, do the driving test, and unlike Morgan, I passed that with no problems. There were some big cones, Winter Morgan, just in the way. You have to deal with those. But past that, I get home, have dinner at 5 o'clock, leave the house with my new driver's license. Now, I'd worked the 2 previous years and bought a car. So I had a 1952 Ford Crown Victoria. Mr. Big Shot hit the road. At 7:30 that night, there is a monster pilot. Now, that's not the actual pilot, because those cars are newer than 1952. I was the cause of that monster 5-car pilot. I was racing. Now, I'd had my license 2 hours, and I'm a professional race driver. You're laughing. It's a little funny, but it's more scary than it is funny. God was with me and prevented me injuring anyone. When I pulled away from I was able to drive the car and got to a restaurant to go in, I was shaking so bad I couldn't put the clutch in, and the car just died. Age 18, a flood. Now this wasn't a flood, it was a mountain flash flood. Here when we have a flood, kind of the basement gets wet, streets, get wet. This was in West Virginia. A flash flood in West Virginia is awesome. It is destructive. This particular night, there were 12 people that died. A friend and I were at a party, and we were in the party, no TV, no radio, had no idea that there was this bad of a storm happening. And midnight comes, and he and I leave to go home. A girl there said, "I'm afraid to drive in this. Can you take me home?" Sure, we'll do that. We go outside, and all of us commented, "Wow, I've never seen rain this hard before." So we get in the car, going down the mountain road, and it's like we're driving in a creek. The water is going so fast. As we get to the bottom of the hill, the water is deeper and flowing much faster, and it starts sweeping our car. It swept us over a bank, down into a kind of a gully, and there were 2 other cars there, which we hit the other car. There was no one in the car. They had gotten out earlier, and the water started rising. Storm, lightning flashes, a pretty intense situation. I said, "We got to get out of here. Let's call out the windows and leave." Fortunately, the guy said, "We can't do that. Look." And there were trees going by. There was all kinds of debris, rocks that hit the car, shakes the car. He said, "It will be instantly swept away. We can't leave the car." Okay, we'll stay in the car. Now in the car, pretty soon it looked like we were sitting in a hot tub. except it wasn't hot. The water had filled completely the inside of the car. You couldn't see the hood on the outside of the car. And we had to get in the seats of the car with our knees. Pretty soon the water was up to here. Pretty soon the water was up to here, and we had to turn our heads like that. Thank the Lord, the storm stopped. The water stopped rising. Now this is all happening over about a 2-hour time period. Because of the mountains and the steepness of it, the water started dissipating pretty fast. The girl that we were taking home said, "I've got to get home. My parents are going to be very concerned." Well, obviously our car isn't on start. The streets are still full of water. So Mr. Big Shot, that would be me, Mr. Big Shot says, "Well, I'll take you home. I'll put you on my shoulders and get you home safely." It was his car, so he stayed with the car. I get out of the car, water's about waist deep, put her on my shoulders, and we're going through the streets of the town. Didn't realize this till the next, by the way, I got her home. Next morning on the news, it was telling people, stay off the streets. The storm was so intense that it had blown all the manhole covers off. And if you stepped where a manhole cover was, bloop, it would be all over. So I got home. Age 30, moving right on. Age 30, I'm on a hunting trip in